Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be continuing on with our iOS development using UIKit tutorial series. And in this particular tutorial we are going to be taking a look at how we can create a search tab in UIKit the old and the new way. Because oftentimes in an app you're going to want to have a specific tab for searching through stuff. And iOS gives us a way to do that pretty easily, both prior to iOS 18 and from iOS 18 onward if you want to use the newer APIs. So, let's go ahead and get started. I have the same code that we had previously from the previous video, where we're creating both an old and a new UITabBar controller interface. And I'm going to walk through both options for creating a search tab. All right, so in Xcode here, let's start with the new way. So to create a search tab using the new iOS 18 APIs for tab bar controllers and tabs and all that, we need to use an object called UISearchTab. Now, this search tab will take in one parameter in its initializer, and that is a view controller provider. So a closure where we have to return the view controller that should be displayed when the tab is selected. Okay, so let's go ahead and first initialize an object for our view controller that we want to display. So we'll say let search VC equals search VC. So I have a second view controller here called search VC that I created off camera, but all I did was I pretty much went file, new, and then I created a Cocoa Touch class, called it search VC, and had it be a subclass of UI view controller, and then removed everything else that was in there except for the override of view_did_load. All right, so that's all I did. Now we need to create a navigation controller for this. So we'll say let search nav VC equals UI navigation controller with a root view controller of search VC. Like that. All right. Now we'll say search VC dot title equals search. All right. So now our search VC has a title that it will display in the navigation bar. The next thing is to actually create the tab. All right. So we'll say let search tab equals UISearchTab all right. So what we can do, let's see here. Let's make sure that everything is working as we want it to. Equals UISearchTab. And this is the one we want. You can provide a title. You can provide you can provide an image, and you can provide an identifier and a view controller provider if you want, but that's not necessarily recommended. The documentation, at least in the release notes for iOS and iPadOS 18 under the UIKit section, suggests that you use the initializer with a view controller provider. So we will use that initializer. I will leave a link in the description for the iOS and iPadOS 18 release notes, so you can peruse through some of those. But with that being said here, the view controller provider is exactly the same as it is for a normal UITab instance. So we get a UITab passed into the provider. However, because this closure is the only parameter in our initializer, we can get rid of these parentheses altogether and have this be a trailing closure like this. Excuse me. All right, so let search tab equals UI search tab, and then we give it its closure. In here, we will return our search nav VC like that. All right. And then after our home tab, in the array of UI tabs that we pass into our tab bar controller initializer, we can say search tab like that. Now, why can we pass a UI search tab object to an array of UI tab? Well, the reason for that is because UI search tab inherits from UI tab. So therefore, we can put it into that array and it'll do everything just fine. All right. And with that, we can save our code and then we can run it. I just want to make sure that my phone is on Do Not Disturb here. Turn on Do Not Disturb.
Notification. 11:55 a.m. LinkedIn. 11 minutes.
Nope. Turn on Do Not Disturb.
Do Not Disturb is off. Let me know if you'd like to turn it on.
That's not... Okay.
LinkedIn.
Siri is being uncooperative today. My apologies. 1 second. All right, there we go. My apologies, guys. My phone was being uncooperative. It's an old crap iPhone. It's a 10R, so it doesn't like to listen when you tell it to do something. Let's run our code now. Okay. Now that it's running, or it should start running anyway. Let's see. No, I don't want that. Okay. Here we go. Now, I'm going to screen mirror with you guys. I want screen mirroring. And my Mac Mini. All right. Cool. Okay. So here we are. The primary tab that is selected is the Home tab. And then you can see down in the tab bar we get a Search tab down there. And we get the title of search, and we get a magnifying glass SF symbol. Now, we get that because UISearchTab does that particular work for us. It uses a system localized string for the search tab title. In this case, it's search. And then it'll use an appropriate SF symbol, which is the magnifying glass. All right. So that is how we can create a search tab the new way from iOS 18 onward. Now let's take a look at the old way, how we used to have to do it. So down here, first thing that we're going to want to do inside of create tab controller old we will say let search VC equals search VC we'll do that, and then we'll say search VC dot title equals search, and then we will say search VC dot tab bar item equals UI tab bar item, and we want the initializer that takes in a tab bar system item. And this will take in a tag as well. You could use the initializer that takes in a title and an image and all of that. That would work fine. However, the system provides a tab bar system item for search tabs. This is recommended if your tab is for one of the many common use cases that they provide for you. So UITabBarItem system item has a bunch of constants that we can use. So we can have a specific title and a specific symbol defined by the system. So if we say dot, we can see we have one for bookmarks, one for contacts, one for downloads, one for favorites, one for featured, history, more, most recent, most viewed, recents, and search, as well as top rated. And that's about it. We want search. Now let's give this a tag of 1. All right. Right. So if you recall in the previous video, and as we see here in the code, the previous tab, our home tab, we used the UITabBarItem with a title, an image, and a tag. This is because there's no home system tab item that we can give it, so we had to specify everything ourselves. Right. So with that, we can save this and go back up to where we define our tab bar controller outside of these two private methods. So I'm going to go all the way up here. All right. So here, let tab controller equals create tab controller new. We'll replace that with old. Save that. Run it. Yes, I would like to replace it. All right. So now we're running the app again, this time using the old way. I'm going to screen mirror here for you guys. I want screen mirroring. I want my Mac Mini. All right, cool. So here we go. And here we are inside of our app. Again, the tab that is selected by default is Home. You can change this if you want on the UITabBar controller, but we didn't because we wanted it to do its default behavior. So the first tab is our Home tab, but you can see we didn't add the Search tab to our tab bar controller. And that is a common mistake that you will make. So if we go back down, where we have tab bar, where we have tab controller.view controllers, we need to add this tab to, we need to add this view controller to our view controllers array. Right? Now, the only issue is we haven't embedded it in a UI navigation controller, so let's do that real quick. Let search nav vc equals UI navigation controller with a root view controller of search vc. And then, after our nav vc for our main screen, our home screen, we'll say search nav vc. Now we can save it, run it again. All right, I'm going to screen mirror again. I want to go to the Mac Mini here. Excuse me. Okay. And so here we are. Again, we have our Home tab. And you can see Home is now tab 1 of 2. And then we go to Search. And there's our search. It has the title we gave it, or in the navigation bar when we select the tab, and then the tab uses a system-defined symbol and title for the actual content of the tab itself in the tab bar. So the magnifying glass and the title of search. All right, so with that pretty much does it for this video on how we can create search tabs the old and newer ways. Thank you all so very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. It helps the channel either way. Make sure you hit that big subscribe button and hit the bell so you know, so you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos and when I go live, if I ever get back to doing some coding live streams. And also, make sure you check the description below for the iOS 18 and iPadOS 18 release notes. So you can peruse through those, look at the SwiftUI section, the UIKit section, whatever section you feel you want to check, you can look at those. Also down in the description is my Twitter profile link, so you can follow me over on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.